Uh, she was with Diddy. Child, whether you believe Jaguar or not, is totally up to you. But what I can tell you is that it's an entire mess out there, and y'all better stay protected. Okay. As far as where all these allegations even began, the thing is Jaguar did an interview where she praised businessman and former basketball player Magic Johnson, who had been open about his HIV diagnosis. She was like, shout out to Magic Johnson, a real black billionaire who wasn't all freaked off, who actually created dollars in black neighborhoods so real black families could have that opportunity, just like everybody else. He faced that head up, he didn't stop. He didn't stop doing what he's done. How many dudes is running around undetectable? Now, because the conversations Jaguar was having in the interview were mostly about Diddy, people interpreted her comments to mean that Diddy was running around undetectable, and that certain female celebs allegedly left those parties with infections and drama they couldn't wash off the next morning. Do we have proof? Absolutely not. But Jaguar doesn't seem to care about receipts. She knows dropping those bombshells keeps the blogs talking and the internet gasping. And honey, the way she says it all with her chest, you almost forget that it's all alleged. And like I said, it's not just been Jaguar Wright making all these claims. By the way, the rumor mill has gotten even nastier with whispers that young Miami herself has allegedly been passing around the virus she supposedly got from Diddy. Now let's pause, because that's a wild accusation with zero proof attached. But you already know how these interwebs work. The streets don't wait for receipts, they just run with the messiest version of the story. I mean, it doesn't help that young Miami has been front and center in Diddy's life for years now. His arm candy, his city girl, his transporter, and the one who proudly called him her man, even while people were side-eyeing the entire relationship. JT was the one who first started pushing these allegations about Carisha. Like she's the one who began hinting and spreading talk that young Miami picked up the virus from someone who was out here passing it along, and if that's true, I mean that's just not shade. That's a full-on betrayal of the City Girls brand. Besties turned frenemies with JT supposedly airing out her partner in Rhymes' business for the whole world to dissect. But that's not all. The rumor mill also said that young Miami, Saucy Santana, and even his ex-boyfriend, known as Chef D, are tangled up in this storyline. And according to D, Diddy was out here hiding a diagnosis the whole time they were together. Child, personally, I wouldn't be surprised if more than just body fluids were being passed around at the freak-offs, cause the things we've heard about what was going on were just wild. Y'all remember when Diddy was indicted, federal agents reported finding not only 1,000 bottles of baby oil, but also 3 AR-15s at Diddy's residences in Miami and Los Angeles. These items were reportedly part of a larger operation involving Diddy's freak-offs, where he allegedly hosted wild drug-fueled parties. The indictment actually detailed the use of these supplies in extravagant gatherings, including controlled substances, extra linens, and lighting. It also went on to detail how Diddy threatened and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. He was also accused of using his staff, money, and influence to build his business empire, and ultimately a criminal enterprise where he took part in a bunch of crimes not limited to forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Federal officers also noted how on numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Diddy mistreated women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at and them. In addition, the indictment went on to say that Diddy lured women in under the pretense of a relationship and forced them to engage in freak-offs using physical and other forms of force. The freak-offs were also described as elaborate and produced intimate performances that Diddy allegedly arranged, directed during, and often electronically recorded. Then it noted how Diddy's staff often booked hotel rooms and stocked them in advance with hard stuff, baby oil, lubricant, sheets, and extra lighting. Apparently, allegedly, the freak-offs could last for days. And Diddy, together with the other people involved, would often receive IV fluids to recover from whatever they were using. The same IV fluids he had his mom using after probably several nights of partying. Anywho, there were also more details about what was going on in Cassie's lawsuit, where she described in detail how Diddy was prone to uncontrollable rage and he subjected her to savage acts in which he punched, kicked, and saying how she was admitted to the hospital on several occasions. How she lost her memory because of how much Diddy used to lay hands on her, how she wanted to unalive herself, and how Diddy was forcing her to hook up with a succession of male hookers while he filmed the encounters. Near the end of their relationship in 2018, Cassie also accused Diddy of forcing his way into her home and forcing himself on her. Then there were the several other lawsuits that also went into more detail about the freak-offs. For instance, April Lampro described in detail 4 times Diddy acting like an animal towards her. The first time it allegedly happened was in 1995 after they met at a New York City bar, and April said that Diddy pressured her to drink alcohol. She allegedly felt uneasy after a few sips and was later guided to a car to leave with Diddy. Then, after arriving at a hotel where she continued to feel unwell, April was on a hotel bed when Diddy forced himself on top of her and began to forcibly kiss her. Allegedly, she said that when she turned her head, Diddy grabbed her face and continued to kiss her. Then he undressed her despite her attempts to tell him she felt unwell and her pleas for him to stop. Then she said that she passed out as Diddy continued to have his way. She also described a different encounter that involved Kim Porter, alleging that she was at Diddy's apartment in Manhattan with Kim after they had returned from a nightclub. And Diddy told them both to open their mouths and forced ecstasy down their throats. Then he forced them to hook up as he watched and got off from watching Kim and April. But it doesn't stop there for Diddy because after forcing the two ladies to hook up, April added that Diddy proceeded to force himself on her. Honestly, given all these things that were going on, is it surprising that people possibly got infected? If the environment was really as wild and reckless as what has been claimed with hard substances, unprotected encounters, and people allegedly being passed around, then is it really that shocking that people could have become infected? Well, what concerns me even more isn't even the freak-off stories themselves, it's the names that keep getting dropped in connection to Diddy. We're talking about some of the biggest women in the game. Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Cassie, Young Miami, Kim Porter, Jennifer Lopez, Mary J. Blige, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Is it possible that these women and many others were infected? I don't know. At the end of the day, Jaguar's allegations feed into a bigger storm surrounding Diddy. Some dismiss her as a bitter truth-teller going rogue, while others swear she's exposing what insiders have whispered for years. But regardless, the streets are asking if even a fraction of what she is saying is true. How many careers, reputations, and lives were tied up in the chaos of those infamous parties? And how many more should be held accountable? Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Roth should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him off of Justin Bieber alone. I mean, the whole situation is messy, chaotic, and dripping in allegations that may never fully be proven. What started as whispers about Diddy's wild parties has spiraled into health rumors, broken friendships, and some of the biggest female names in the industry being dragged into the mud. And while some of this may just be gossip spun out of control, the fact that Diddy's already facing convictions and his empire is unraveling makes it all feel a little too close to possible. But what do you think about all these names being dropped with regards to them getting infected at the freak-offs? Do you think there could be truth to these allegations? Drop those thoughts in the comments section below.